Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that all of you are having a fantastic weekend, and for those of you celebrating Christmas, a very Merry Christmas to all of you. I hope that you're having a great time with your friends and your family. You're staying healthy and strong. Welcome Joao. And welcome members. This is a members chat class. Of course, everybody is welcome to watch, and it's a good idea to watch because after this class we will have speaking part 3. So in this class, IELTS speaking part 2, and the focus of this cue card will be a creative person. Welcome, Romelia. Nice to see people joining in, even people who may be celebrating Christmas at this time. I will be celebrating Christmas, but a little bit later on. It's still just 5:30 a.m. in my neck of the woods, in my part of the world. So students, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. Both of those websites have tons of information to help you prepare for your IELTS exam, and they are the websites that we use in these live classes. This is our general IELTS website here with the green background. You can click this big red button to join our premium IELTS package. And this is our academic IELTS website that we will use today to talk with our viewers, with the students, to practice for those high band scores. So again, click that big red button there. It's a one-time payment. It's just above my head. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and it will help us help you to succeed. We're an IDP affiliate. We're a British Council partner, an IELTS test registration center. I'm a certified British Council agent. You're in great hands with us. Domenico, Tan, nice to see you. So many studious individuals. Fantastic. And when you click that button, you can use a new discount code from a new video that we just released a couple hours ago, and the code is change9 for a 10% discount. And again, it's a one-time payment. It doesn't cost a lot, so you are golden. Students, we'll come back to this website a little bit later when we talk with each other. For now, a little bit more about us and what we're doing today. The apps in your app stores are Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. They link to the website, so download those and use those with the websites. On Instagram, you will find the weekly schedules, vocabulary for the IELTS and for your professional and academic English. Check out IELTS_AEHelp, GIELTS Help. And if you have questions, just send me an email. Adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. Again, that's my name, Adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. If you like to have physical exam books, like you want to hold on to your book and you're doing a paper-based exam, it's a good idea. You can find our books on Amazon. Just search for AEHelp's Academic IELTS or GEHelp's General IELTS. Now, students, we have classes for you today. Speaking part 2 and then speaking part 3 after this class. And then, as usual, no class Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm back on Thursday, the 29th, with speaking part 1, and then we'll have classes all the way until the end of the year, the 31st. So I'm kind of hanging out with a lot of you during Christmas and New Year's this year. Saturday just happens to fall on Christmas Eve for many of you, and on New Year's Eve for many of you next week. So that's kind of fun. Thanks for being here with me. I appreciate it. I mean, for me, it's a little different because it's still just really early in the morning. Everybody's still sleeping, right? So most people are anyway when I'm doing these live classes. Victoria is on the west coast of Canada. So our time zone right now, it's just 5:30 a.m. in the morning. Students, like I said, new video on the YouTube channel. Definitely subscribe to the channel so you get all the notifications of live classes and new videos. I just put the new video link into the chat. Check that out. All right. Sarah, our chat moderator, is here. Sarah, I thought for sure you and Carolina both would be away with your Christmas celebrations, but I definitely appreciate you being here and helping people. All right, everybody. IELTS speaking part 2, the cue card. Let me just start a fresh page here for us. Firstly, let's read this cue card. Practice makes perfect. Here we go. Talk about a creative person whom you know. Okay, it's a good idea to read that topic sentence twice, even though the examiner will read it for you as well. So the examiner will say, that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you a card with some questions on it. You will have 1 minute to prepare your answers. You can take notes in this time if you wish, and then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start, when to stop. Talk about a creative person whom you know. Boom, you just heard it. Now, when you start your 1 minute, read it. Talk about a creative person whom you know. Don't talk about Rihanna. Don't talk about Celine Dion. Don't talk about maybe Jackson Pollock, the famous painter that we read about yesterday, because you don't know those people, okay? So when they ask you to talk about someone who you know, it should be somebody personal, like your brother, your sister, your mother, your cousin, your friend, your teacher, your mentor, your colleague, somebody who you know, okay? Not somebody who you know from TV, all right? Awesome, Sarah, doing your chores, getting your house all ready and clean for Christmas. Okay, so let's do it. Let's keep reading the card. Who is this person? What kind of art or activity does the person do? Why do you think they are creative? What have they created in the past, and what do you think they will do in the future? You will have 1 to 2 minutes to talk about this topic, and you have 1 minute to prepare. Fantastic. So, okay, you're using this time wisely, smartly. You're calm, you're confident, you're ready to go, right? The card and your notes will be there to guide you. Okay, make sure you use both. Some candidates don't use either. It's so scary. Why do you want to do that? Don't do that. Okay, so the questions and your notes are your guide for the 2 minutes. Make sure to use them. All right, a lot of candidates, they take their notes, they read the questions, and then they start talking, they freeze, and then they're like, and they forget that they've got their guides there to help them, and they get stuck, and then they don't get a very good band score. You need to get a good band score. You need to use your notes, okay? All right. And for many members who are, listening and watching these classes regularly, and you know some of the information I'm about to say, start doing it. So start thinking of your ideas to answer this cue card and take notes. Maybe try it for multiple ideas to see what you can come up with. So just lend me half an ear, okay, half an ear, and the other half of your attention, focus it on going through the steps that we are about to discuss for this, okay? Step 1, identify the category. Of the card. It's a person. When we talk about a person, we have to include their appearance, what they look like, right? We have to include their actions, their characteristics or behaviors, personality, with actions. Okay, so that's what we do. All right. So let's say that I'm talking about my cousin Jennifer. What she looks like: 165 centimeters tall, long brown hair, long brown wavy hair, right? Hazel eyes, pretty smile. Okay, so a little bit about what she looks like. Quite fit, maybe. Okay, and then I want to talk about the personality, right? So maybe I'm going to say bubbly, life of the party, always telling people the latest trends and memes. Okay? All right. So she's bubbly, happy person. I'm visualizing Jennifer. Jennifer is made up right now. I'm just making up Jennifer, creating Jennifer. Domenico says, I can describe my paternal uncle. Yes, you can, Domenico. Absolutely. Kennel, you cannot include movie stars in this question because you don't know them. Somebody who you know isn't someone that you're familiar with, okay? Be careful again, students. When the question says someone whom you know, it should really be someone who you know, not someone who you're familiar with from movies. You don't actually know those people, okay? So if you're thinking about a movie star, do you know what their cat likes to eat for breakfast? No, you don't. You don't know them, okay? All right. So talk about someone who you know. Tan, neither. Okay, Tan's asking, which is more important, grammar or fluency? Tan, coherence is the most important. Grammar and fluency are important for coherence. Okay, coherence is the most important part of your speaking. Coherence means your listener needs to be able to understand you. Okay, and for that, yeah, grammar is very important and fluency is important. If I can't continually speak, my listener won't understand me. If I don't make sense grammatically, they won't understand me. So it's a combination of the two. It's coherence that's most important, Tan. Okay. Domenico says, my paternal uncle is a retired accountant, but one of his favorite hobbies since childhood is creating carved figurines using recycled materials. Domenico, try to copy that. Check the time. 12 minutes to 13 minutes. That was the timestamp for that correction. Apurva, salve. Thanks for joining our group of members. That's awesome. Make sure to join in on the chat today as well. Okay. Yeah, Sarah, exactly. You're right. Both are important because of coherence. Not the epitome, Domenico. Epitome carries a negative connotation in English. So instead of saying he is the epitome of creativity, okay, the word epitome is negative. So he's the manifestation of creativity with his dexterous hands. Sure. Okay. All right, students. So step one, we identify the category. We're talking about a person here. When you're talking about a person, you need to focus on talking a little bit about their appearance, especially in this case because you're talking about a family member or a friend or a teacher, and the examiner has no idea who this person is or what they look like. So you want to give the person shape, okay? And then talk about their personality backed up by actions. Now, also within this step, I figure out the tense, okay? So looking at the question, who is this person? What kind of art or creativity does the person do? Why do you think they are creative? What have they created in the past and what will they do in the future? So I'm using a lot of different tense here. I'm using present, present perfect, future with will, right? So lots of tenses in this one, okay? Kennel, much better, your art teacher. Fantastic. All right, I've got the tense figured out. I've got my category figured out. In the real exam, you only have 1 minute, so this is happening in just a matter of seconds. Okay? All right, next step. Step 2. Well, this would be step 3 because we have to read the question, right? That would have been step 1, but let's make this step 2 for today. Think of some good ideas. Okay. Now, this is the tricky part, but this is the most important part. Okay? Think of some good ideas, 2 or 3. So think of 2 or 3 people. And if you can't think of 2 or 3 people who are really creative, you're like, well, my whole family, and nobody's creative. Everybody just does math. I don't know, math takes creativity. Then start to think about, instead of the person, think about the controlling idea, okay? So keep the controlling idea in mind. Okay. So the controlling idea here is creativity. Okay. And when you're thinking about creativity is kind of abstract, right? We can't really see it per se, only in actions. What is creativity? Co-team, I will take a look at your account. If you sent an email, we'll fix it for you. Do not worry. All right. So, creativity. What are the manifestations of creativity? How can we see creativity? Okay, so coming up with new ideas is fine, but again, it's something that we can't touch. Okay? So, Fuang says, new songs. Okay, songwriter, sure. So let's make sure we know the vocabulary, Fuang. Absolutely. Creating new songs is somebody who is a songwriter or maybe a composer. All right. What else? How else do we see the manifestation of creativity? Chayani says Choreo maker. I'm not even sure what that is. You'll have to educate me on that one. Choreo maker. Choreo maker? Choreo maker? You'll have to explain that one, Chayani. Chayani, be careful. If you choose something very original that's unfamiliar for your examiner, it might be difficult. Okay. Kennel, handmade jewelry. Yeah. Okay. Romelia, creativity, those are what's required for creativity, but I'm looking for how do we see creativity. Okay, Chayani says choreography. Now I got it, Chayani. Choreography. Choreography, what kind of choreography? Dance, right? Let's say dance choreography. That's a good one. Yeah, painter. Handmade jewelry could be a goldsmith. They work with gold. Okay. A lot of these creative activities also have the creative person, right? Okay. Decorator. How about that? Okay. Raquea, chef. Yes, very good. Now you're thinking. Okay, good. Nice. Awesome. Okay, so we've got lots of good ones here. So if you have someone that you know who is either a songwriter, a composer, a dance choreographer, a goldsmith, a painter, a decorator, a chef, an interior designer, then all of those are fantastic choices to talk about someone who is creative, okay? All right, and 10, even an entrepreneur. Absolutely. Business takes tons of creativity. Makeup artist, Chayani. There you go. There's a good one. Yes, face painting. Fashion designer, right? For clothing. Absolutely. All of those jobs kind of take creativity. So sometimes when you get stuck trying to think about the person, switch your strategy. And instead of thinking about the person, think about the controlling idea. Okay? And that way you might get much better ideas to help you speak fluently, even if you have to make it up. Okay? So this is a very good piece of advice for you. All right? So if you are stuck thinking about a person for the cue card, focus more on the controlling idea, and you can just imagine the person. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to focus on my cousin Jennifer, who doesn't actually exist, and I'm going to make up the information. Right? I'm going to just create it, poof, like magic, out of my head, focusing on the controlling idea. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take context, right? So take current context. Okay. What is the celebration that many people around the world are celebrating today and tomorrow? Well, maybe not everybody, but most of us know this. That's right, it's Christmas. Okay. Now, how can we see creativity during Christmas? So what I'm showing you here, okay, is how to do this. Now, you could, of course, do this with Diwali. You could do this with Eid. You could do this with lots of different types of religious or non-religious types of celebrations that happen around the world, right? There you go. Sarah and Fuang say Christmas. Christmas, sir. Right. So Christmas, does Christmas involve any kind of creativity? So for those of you who aren't familiar with Christmas, like I say, you can think of other celebrations that happen for you during the year, right? Chayani, like the lunar year. Sure. Lunar year, I believe, will happen later in February. Chayani, but for those people, yeah. So Raquea says, sure, decorations. Exactly, Raquea. Decorations for the home, the Christmas tree, right? For the table, the gifts, okay? So all of those require creativity, right? And so all I'm doing is I'm taking my current context. Okay. Okay. So now that absolutely, Sarah, let's not forget about the food, Christmas food, the Christmas dinner takes a lot of creativity as well, and the table, right? So the trick here, students, what I'm showing you importantly is that when you're in the IELTS, by staying focused, by staying calm and thinking about your context, right? Because one of the most common complaints that I hear from candidates is I get stuck for ideas. You should not be stuck for ideas. You should be able to use what you know, what's around you, what's happening in the world at that moment. And then you should be able to combine that with your English skills to come up with some pretty good answers, okay? So here, I'm going to take the concept of decorator or interior designer, link it together with my cousin Jennifer, okay? And then connect it with Christmas. There. What a bang, what a boom. Does that make sense? Do you see how my brain kind of fused all of those different components together? And now I can make a completely fabricated story, and it will be great. It should be great. Hopefully. I thought we'd do this one. It'd be fun for Christmas, right? So use your current context, knowledge, visualization, the controlling idea of the card, and if necessary, you can fabricate an incredible or credible story spontaneously. Okay? Means right away. It's a very, very powerful skill to develop and have for your careers, okay? All right. Let's do it. So let's take some notes. This is the next step here. So step 3, I guess it would be 4, but let's call it step 3, notes. Okay, so notes, appearance. When you're doing your notes, just remind yourself by writing the letter A, don't write appearance. I already have it here, Cousin Jennifer. I have everything I need here. And then personality, plus actions. Okay. So remember, when you're thinking about the personality plus actions, really keep in mind the controlling idea. So here it's creativity. Okay. So I already said that she is bubbly. Okay. Life of the party. Now it's going to be a Christmas party, telling people about the latest trends, maybe ugly Christmas sweaters. If you don't know what that is, check it out. It's really funny. And memes, maybe some Christmas memes. Okay. So everything is focused around Christmas now, obviously. Okay, when I'm writing the notes, I'm writing short form. So I'm just doing the notes this way for clarity in the class. But if I were doing this in the actual IELTS exam, all of these words would just be really short form. 2 words, okay? Your notes should be 2 words. And they should be words and ideas that help you to speak fluently and give more details. It's very, very important. So don't write obvious notes. Your notes should help you give more details and avoid repetition or getting stuck. Okay, practice that before the exam, all right? All right, sounds like some of you are really hungry getting ready for that Christmas turkey, right? Okay, students, let's get refocused here. Give me some personality backed by some actions that my cousin Jennifer might have, which focuses on creativity. Okay, so think outside the box. So I would write outside the box. Okay, now how would that be backed up by actions? Okay, so there, outside the box, pictures of the family for the tree ornaments. Okay, so on the tree, the Christmas tree, right? We hang ornaments. So you have the Christmas tree. Here we go. Okay. And on your Christmas tree, you hang ornaments. And maybe here, the ornaments that are hanging from the Christmas tree are pictures of family members. There, like that. Ooh, look at that. There's... we're a family of, as you can see, we're a family of happy faces, right? Okay, so there you go. All right. So give me some personality backed up by actions. Those are what keep you fluent, and then you can connect those with some connective words. Okay. Hi, Harpreet. Okay. So we're practicing this, and then you will have a chance to practice as well. Sarah, that's right. I'm practicing my creative side. See, I'm being creative. That's right. Okay, so again, think about personality backed up by action within the context of the topic. It's creativity. Harpreet, that's great. Okay. So thinks outside the box. I'm going to give you another one while you're thinking about it. Okay. Awesome hand-eye coordination. Now, again, with notes, you take out any unnecessary words like this. So it'd simply be hand-eye coordination. So maybe some intricate designs for the dinner napkins, cuts everybody's names out of the dinner napkins. Okay. Andrew Foxwell says, making snowmen in unusual shapes in the backyard. Okay, very good. Yes. So Andrew says, like hedge art, right, Andrew? That's what you're thinking about. If you're not sure what that is, hedge art is when people cut bushes into some interesting shapes, like dolphins or a swan or something like that. So ice sculptures, sure. Snowman in the shape of a polar bear kennel. Now you're thinking. Okay, very good. All right. Maybe she's hardworking. Her school is in interior design. Right? Okay, good. So I'm looking good, and I want to make sure I'm looking at the card as well, even when I'm taking my notes. So who is this person? Okay, this is Jennifer, my cousin. What kind of art or activity does the person do? Why do you think they are creative? What have they created in the past, and what do you think they will do in the future? Okay. Maybe she has designed homes. Okay. Some famous people's homes. Okay. In the future, she will have her own magazine. Sure. Why not? Okay, let's be really ambitious. All right. Now you have one more step here, which is your first sentence. Okay, so this is going to be step number 4 in this case. Have your first sentence ready. Okay. There. Simple, to the point. Use the exact, so sometimes people ask me, should I paraphrase the question in my first sentence? No, don't even paraphrase, just reflect it directly. So do not paraphrase the question when you start your response. Just reflect it directly to the examiner, so that they know you are on topic. Okay. This will give a good chance to let you finish your 2 minutes of speaking. Okay. So notice how here the original question is talk about a creative person whom you know. And then the examiner says, okay, your 1 minute preparation time is up. A very creative person whom I know is my cousin Jennifer. Great. You're talking about the cue card and you're being direct. Don't say, I know a lot of creative people, but the person that I want to talk about today who is the most creative is my cousin Jennifer. Don't say that, okay? Go directly into it. So a very creative person whom I know is my cousin Jennifer, okay? And then we just go through the steps, the notes, okay? So first of all, the appearance. Let's create the setting. Let's create the individual, right? So she is 28 years old, about 165 centimeters tall, with long, wavy hair, hazel eyes, and quite fit. She graduated from the School of Design at the Toronto College. And works as an interior decorator. There, boom, right? I'm just making her up. I'm literally taking my notes and I'm giving the information to the examiner step by step, right? So now I've given a little bit about her appearance so the examiner can imagine what Jennifer looks like. I've given a little bit about her background, clearly connected to the concept of creativity. And now I can focus on those personality features backed up by actions in the current context of Christmas while paying attention to the questions on the cue card. And I know that sounds like a lot to pay attention to, but that's why you need to practice for part 2 before your IELTS exam, okay? Part 2 is definitely challenging. For anybody, even for a native speaker. So if native speakers were to sit the IELTS exam, they would find part 2 of the speaking interview very challenging if they don't prepare or if they don't work in some kind of a public speaking field. Okay, so if you just took an average common native English speaking person that doesn't deal with public speaking and you just threw them into the IELTS exam, they would probably get stuck in part 2 for ideas, or they would repeat ideas. They would not do very well. Okay. All right. Jaw's asking, sir, how much does stuttering affect the exam? Stutter that has been medically proven and not just because of nervousness. Well, if you have a medical note, Joao, about stuttering, then they definitely take that into consideration, or stammering, and they will not deduct marks like they would if you don't have the medical note, but you have to have the medical note, okay? So you still have to be coherent and you still have to make sense, but they will definitely give you more time. So one of the adjustments they do when somebody has what's called a speech impediment is they will allow more time for part 2. For example, if somebody has a heavy stutter, then they might give them 3, 4, 5 minutes even for part 2 to get their ideas out. But they still need to be able to speak with good ideas. So you'd still need to be able to talk about Jennifer being a creative person in some capacity. Okay. 10. 10. 10 says, what if they pretend to be stuttering? I think if you can learn to pretend to stutter in such a way that I will believe that you are actually stuttering, you can invest that time in learning good English and probably get a better mark, okay? It's quite challenging to actually pretend to stutter. People definitely don't like to be taken for fools. So if you are caught trying to take advantage of, which is horrible, it's even horrible. I can't even believe I'm saying this. But if you try to take advantage of learning difficulties or speech impediments in hopes of getting a better band score that way, and you get caught for that in the IELTS exam, that's going to have a very negative impact on life potentially, such as not being able to apply for university or not being able to immigrate to another country. So I definitely wouldn't try to commit fraud, especially such an unethical fraud of pretending to have a speech impediment. Okay, so yeah, no, don't even think about that. That's just silly. All right. Having said that, I know, Tan, I know you're just curious, but yeah, no, don't even go that direction. It's just silly. So having said that, right, now that we've created the foundation for this part 2 response, let's focus on personality backed up by action. Okay, so Jennifer has a keen eye for colors and shapes. She is amazing at creating a cohesive and impressive piece of art with whatever project she happens to be doing. In fact, every year, Jennifer hosts a big family Christmas party where she wows the crowd with her design and decorations. Last year, when I went over to her house for Christmas dinner, I was amazed at the unusual snowman. There you go. Who was that? Was Andrew, right? Using the notes that you gave me. I was amazed at the unusual snowman she had created in her front yard in the shape or shapes of polar bears and penguins. Okay, there. I'm just flying along, right? And anytime I get stuck, I just look at my notes. She is a very bubbly person and loves to put on a show. In fact, she created Christmas ornaments for the tree by taking family photos and making them into all kinds of funny memes to hang on the branches. There we go. So just moving along, right? And anytime I get stuck, I look at my notes. Okay, so one that I haven't used yet is the hand-eye coordination, intricate designs for family napkins. When I sat down to eat Christmas dinner or Christmas turkey, as Sarah said, I was so impressed by her hand-eye coordination because of the intricate napkins she had created, which were cutouts of each person's name. Okay, All right, now, one very important tip, everybody. So I'm just kind of going along here. I'm using up my notes, as you can see. One really important tip is make sure that you answer all of the questions on the card. It's very important. Somebody said to me once that, oh, they saw a video where somebody said that the cue card is just there to guide you. No, it's not just there to guide you. It is there to guide you partly, but it's not just there to guide you. You have to answer all the questions on the card. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. So when, it says, okay, why do you think they're creative? Did we answer that? Yeah, we did. Okay. What kind of art or activity does the person do? They're interior designer, decorator. Okay. Who is the person? We've answered that. What have they created in the past? Okay, we've talked about that, right? The Christmas decorations. And what will they do in the future? We have not talked about that. So we need to talk about that. Okay, we need to make sure that we answer all the questions on the cue card. It's kind of like the task completion for task 2. So let's do that. Okay. All right. So here's where you can paraphrase. I think in the coming years, Jennifer will be highly recognized for her creative talents, and she will likely own her own business, likely have her own business. Let's not make awkward English. Have her own business for interior decorating, and maybe appear in some famous magazine. Then summarize it. Without a doubt, she is one of the most creative individuals whom I have the pleasure of calling family. All right. Good. So here's my answer. Try this with me, students. So let's do a little bit of repetition work before we do volunteering. Okay, repetition is a great way to improve your natural sounding English, your fluency, your intonation, your pronunciation. Okay. So speak and repeat. Okay. And this is for all of our viewers. Speak and repeat. We will have speaking part 3 coming up soon, where everybody will be able to join in on the fun. So practice your English. Don't just practice your listening skills, but practice your speaking skills. All right, here we go, everybody. Let's take a look at the original question, and then we'll go through this. So, all right, where's that original question? There it is. Okay, so here's the question. IELTS speaking part 2. Talk about a creative person whom you know. Who is this person? What kind of art or activity does the person do? Why do you think they are creative? What have they created in the past, and what do you think they will do in the future? Your 1-minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. An extremely creative person whom I know is my cousin Jennifer. She's 28 years old, about 165 centimeters tall, with long wavy hair, hazel eyes, and quite fit. She graduated from the School of Design from Toronto College and works now as an interior decorator. Jennifer has a keen eye for colors and shapes. She is amazing at creating a cohesive and impressive piece of art with whatever project she happens to be doing. In fact, every year Jennifer hosts a big family Christmas party where she wows the crowd with her design and decorations. Last year, when I went over to her house for Christmas dinner, I was amazed at the unusual snowmen she had created in her front yard in the shapes of polar bears and penguins. She's a very bubbly person and loves to put on a show. In fact, she created Christmas ornaments for the tree by taking family photos and making them into all kinds of funny memes to hang on the branches. When I sat down to eat the Christmas turkey, I was so impressed with her hand-eye coordination because of the intricate napkins that she had cut out in the shapes of family members' names. I think in the coming years, like within the next 5 to 10 years, Jennifer will be both a highly recognized creative artist, and she will likely have her own business of interior decorating and maybe even appear in some famous magazine. Without a doubt, she's one of the most creative individuals whom I have the pleasure of calling my family. All right, students, notice how I changed some of the words a little bit just to, when I put it all together. It's just to show you that when the concept is clear in your head, then you can express it in many different ways. You can connect it in many different ways. It's the ideas that make the information flow, okay? So practice that at home. Practice writing it down. So just like how I go through the steps in this live class with step 1, reading the card, step 2, identifying the category and the tenses, step 3, coming up with the ideas, 4, picking the idea and then coming up with good notes, 5, coming up with a response, writing it down, and then saying it. If I were doing this for myself, I would also record it so I could listen to this when I'm on the bus or when I'm washing the dishes. Go through these steps with different cue cards, okay? And improve on them. Keep making them better and better. All right? Everybody's with me? I know we're moving along, but nice and smoothly. But hey, that's the way you do it, right? You need to be creative for speaking part 2. Romelia says, not the most comfortable topic for me, but I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. Romelia, practice this. Repeat after me, students. Step out of my comfort zone. So I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and volunteer, even if I get a low score. Well, Romelia, that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to get our members and our viewers volunteering to speak and practice this part 2. Spread some holiday cheer. So the first step is to go to aehelp.com. Sarah, if you can put all the instructions into the chat for everybody, that would be awesome too. Basically, you go to the website and if you want to get a premium account, click on the big red button that's just right there. Okay, again, it's a one-time pay. You can click on this one too if you watch the video. So either one of those buttons, and then you can join your My Student account. It's a one-time payment. It's worth it, especially if you're in these classes all the time. Maximize your learning efficiency. And then you can try it for free too by clicking on the green button that's just right above my head. And then click on the My Student account. Thanks, Sarah, for putting it in there. In your My Student account, you will find lots of goodies. Okay, and you want to click on Student Partner Speaking right there. And then you'll be able to volunteer. You click Accept. You will be redirected to a new window for a chat interface. You're going to see all these beautiful people in here. Zoraida, Hamidul, Raquea, Jaco, Urhako, Pawasha, Perna, Yuka, Aridam, Romelia, Domenico, Chayani, Fuang. So you'll see all these awesome people, and then you will be able to volunteer. You will see me as master, okay? So you're looking for me as master. And when you volunteer, I will see a little yellow or orange number pop up, okay? So we've got our premium student and member, Domenico and Romelia, volunteering. Domenico, I know that yesterday we had a bit of technical difficulty there and we couldn't connect. So let's see if we can fix that now and give you a chance to just make up for yesterday. So let me reach out to you, Domenico, and then we'll see what's going on. So Domenico, are you ready? Hopefully all is well with us today. Okay, here we go. Domenico says yes. We tested the system yesterday and it worked, so it should be good. Hi, Domenico.
Hello, sir. Yesterday I had a technical issue because I had to refresh the page. That's why we couldn't connect to each other.
Ah, I see. Yeah, afterwards because I think we both experienced it.
Yes, because then I got a call from my member, and my microphone worked, so I had to refresh the page. I had to refresh the page to reload the page, and I didn't think about it. But anyway,
isn't that funny though, Domenico, how we know this? Because for ever since the internet was invented, refreshing the page is one of the most common ways that we need to fix the issue. And somehow people, I myself too, I always forget. I'm like, why didn't I just refresh the page? So yeah, it's kind of funny. But now we're good.
I refreshed the page upon your call. I refreshed the page upon your call.
But I didn't. So anyway, Domenico,
I felt a little frustrated. I felt a little that I couldn't connect. I couldn't connect with you. But anyway.
But here we are now. See, so it all worked out in the end. All right, Domenico. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here. You're over in Sicily, of course, as many people know. Quick question: are you celebrating Christmas today?
Yes, I'm preparing for the Christmas supper, which will take place at 10 p.m. At my house, and my granny and my auntie on my mother's side are coming over to celebrate the event together.
Awesome. That sounds like, and look at you, you're studying even a bit of English before you get into Christmas. What a great way to get yourself ready.
In fact, when I woke up this morning, I thought, well, I thought I was going to take part in the speaking session, and then jumped in the shower, and then jump in the shower. That's what I'm gonna do after volunteering.
Sounds like a plan, Domenico. That's awesome. All right, well, let me get you started on this part 2 cue card. Do your best, and I will give you feedback after, okay? The focus here, Domenico, is don't rush, stay focused, connect your ideas, and stay on topic, okay? So here we go.
All right.
Talk about a creative person whom you know. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
I'd like to tell you about a creative person that I know, whose work I really do appreciate. Is actually my paternal uncle. He's 65 years old and of average height. He has got curly grayish hair, and despite his age, he looks quite young for his age. And he is a retired accountant. He graduated from the economics school. But one of his favorite hobbies is creating carved figurines using recycled materials since he was growing up, and I think he inherited this talent when he was born. Anyway, like I mentioned, he's a retired accountant, but he is actively contributing to the community, creating carved figures using these recycled materials such as plastic, wood. As a matter of fact, he has contributed recently to the arrangement to the arrangement for the scene of the nativity of Jesus Christ in the town hall square, which is appealing many people from the neighboring towns. And besides, he, he always amazes me with his inventiveness.
Okay, your
And
2 minutes is up. I'm going to stop you
yeah.
there. And now we will go on to part 3 for this part. I will ask you some questions related to your response. Okay, Domenico, that was good. That was, I would say, your most organized response yet. So that was great. You're getting better at doing this mini presentation in English, and that's fantastic. So I had a lot of clarity. It was for me this time, your coherence mark was definitely the highest. So I would say a solid 6.5 to 7 in this case. Let me give you a little bit of feedback on what you're doing well and what you can do to make it even better. Okay, so you started by saying, I'd like to talk about a creative person whose work I really appreciate is my brother Nolanko. Did I get his name right?
Who is my who is my paternal uncle.
Uncle, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had a little bit of misunderstanding there. Okay, and then you said he is 65 years old, average height, gray wavy hair, and he's a retired accountant. That was good background information. Okay, so I really liked how you gave that background information. I was able to visualize him. It was really good. Yeah, that's why I was confused a little bit. I'm like, 65 years old. I'm like, how is that your brother? But anyway, you never know. I have a friend who has a very much older brother, so you never know. Anyway, and then you said he graduated from economics school of economics, but that's fine. It's not a big mistake. Okay, and then you said one of his favorite hobbies is creating carved figurines using recycled materials. And it's good you learned that little correction that I gave you earlier in the class about using the adjective noun, recycled materials.
I took notes of your correction, so I put it down in my notebook.
Very good, very nice. Okay, and then you said, I think he inherited this talent when he was born. All right, so this is where you could have been a bit better with both the English and the content by focusing more on this hobby of carved figurines using recycled materials. So you said he inherited this talent, which I thought was really clever. So here's the question that pops up in the mind of the examiner. Who did he inherit this talent from?
From my grandfather on my dad's side.
Okay, good. What was his job?
So my grandfather was a constructor, a construction worker. But he was really creative. He used to tap himself into his creative mind to raise buildings, and he contributed to the growth of my town.
Okay, great. So now we want to be careful not to accidentally start talking about two people, right? So you don't want to talk about your uncle and your grandfather because you're talking about one person. But there's some good information there. So I changed this sentence to, I think he inherited this talent from my grandfather on my dad's side. He was a master carpenter, right? So who was a master carpenter. So that would be a more clear sentence. Now I understand why you said that he inherited this talent, okay? And then after that, you got into a little bit of repetition. So you said, as I mentioned, he is a retired accountant.
Yeah.
You really want to avoid that, and this is an important piece of advice for everybody who's watching.
I forgot to have a look at my notes because I have my notes and I forgot to have a look at, at them. So
And
well,
in the
I went with
IELTS,
the and I went with the flow.
and you went with the repetition, right? That's what happens a lot
Yeah.
is people, when they forget to look at their notes, when they get stuck, they will either be stuck and they'll pause, or they'll start repeating. Both of those can be dangerous, because if somebody gets stuck for a long time, let's say 5 seconds, 10 seconds, the examiner might stop them, especially if 1 minute has passed. They'll go, okay, let's go on to part 3, because they don't want you to feel awkward, so they'll keep going. Or if they feel like you're starting to repeat and you're going to say all the same information again and you've passed the 1 minute, they might stop you. So that's why it's really important to look at those notes. If they see you looking at your notes, they'll give you more time, because they see that you're looking to come up with new information. Okay, so that's why you want to be like.
That's what I was supposed to do. I had to look at my notes because my next point was just in front of me.
Yeah, and then you said it.
Point.
You said he's actually contributing to the community by using these recycled materials such as wood and plastic. And I was like, oh, okay, great. Now you're getting back into it. And then I was thinking, okay, well, what is he making? And then you said he has contributed to the town square by creating the scenery. I just wrote here the Last Supper. You went into a bit more detail, but sure. So that was good.
For example, he has he has contributed to the arrangement for the scene of the Nativity of Jesus Christ, which is exhibited in the town hall square. That is drawing attention of many people from the neighboring towns.
Perfect, right? So that's what I was hoping for, is that you go into those details about his creative side, the side of him doing these carvings. Now, the other point, Domenico, before we get ahead of ourselves, because I think you're doing great, but the other point is always make sure to look at the card and answer that last question. So here, that last question was, what have they created in the past, and what do you think they will do in the future? Before you run out of time, as soon as you're like, okay, I've been talking for like a good minute and a half now, you have to make sure to answer that question. Yeah. What do you think they will do in the future?
My point was he might contribute to restoring the art teaching in schools, which many people frown upon.
Yeah, or, make it really clear, Domenico. And again, this is a tip for everybody. So say, I know that my uncle has a plan that in the next year, in 2023, he is going to go to the local schools and teach the high school teenagers to do different kinds of art from recycled material. So that kind of future plan with a very clear, like, I know that next year in 2023, my uncle's planning to go to schools. That is a very effective way to show the examiner that you're answering all the questions on the card, you're paying attention, and you're finishing it up. Okay, so can you just finish with that last sentence, Domenico? So tell me one sentence about what your uncle is planning to do in 2023.
So I think my uncle is planning to contribute to restoring the art teaching in local schools, so that the teenagers will be able to craft objects from recycled materials, which would contribute to safeguarding the environment.
Not needed. Don't go off topic, right? As soon as like the examiner starts to, I know it's nice and we want to be, and it's Christmas, we want to be nice, but starting to talk about the environment might feel like you're starting to drift off topic. So more importantly, Domenico, you want to emphasize that it's the future. So you want to say he will in 2023. Which would contribute to the
creativity, to the inventiveness, which would contribute to the inventiveness of children.
In 2023, right? So really emphasize the year. Okay, Domenico, that was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And have a great Christmas dinner with your aunt and the other guests. Okay.
Same to you, sir.
Thanks, Domenico. Bye for now.
Bye.
All right, that was Domenico. That was great. And look at all the lovely volunteers that we have now. We've got lots of them. Okay, let's take somebody who might be a little bit new here for us. Let's take Krishna. Krishna has got a couple messages. Krishna, are you ready? We've got time for a few more, so hang in there, students. Krishna, if you're there, let us know. Thanks for the thumbs up for Domenico, everybody. Yeah, support each other, absolutely. Thumbs up, Domenico. Karina, Fuang, Raquea are all saying thumbs up. Okay, let's give Krishna a shot here. It's Christmas, so we'll give Krishna a shot, and then we'll get back to some of our members and our premium students. This is a members chat class, everybody, so it pays to be a member. All right. Let's see what Krishna is up to. Hello, Krishna. Are you there? Krishna. I hear a lot of silence on your end there. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe let's refresh the page again. I'm just going to refresh the page, everybody, and then hopefully that will work. And what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to reach out to Romelia. I know Romelia is really anxious to try this one as well. Okay, I think Romelia just refreshed as well. Chayani, let's do Chayani then. Romelia, I'll circle back to you. Chayani, are you ready? Sounds like Chayani knows a couple of very creative people. Yes, of course. Okay, Chayani, here we go.
Hello?
Hi, Chayani.
Yes. Am I audible with you?
You're very clear. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great.
How are you doing, Chayani?
I'm doing great today. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I'm full of energy. I'm excited about the holidays. So I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Chayani,
great.
do you know some
Yes,
creative
sir?
people?
Yeah, mostly they are my close friend.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's do this. Are you ready? Here we go. So let's continue with speaking part 2. Talk about a creative person whom you know. Your 1-minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Okay, I would like to introduce the most creative person that I have ever met is Irene. She is 20 years old, about 158 centimeters tall with thick, long, and bangs, and she is very cute and chubby. She's still studying at computer engineering from South Tangerang University and works as a kindergarten teacher as creativity member. Irene has a couple of useful hands. She is extraordinary person for making a match and a wonderful creativity hand. And in fact, every Christmas, she always made some product that related about the Christmas, such as about the Christmas card and the Christmas wishes. Okay, I went over her house. It's about last year in 2020, and I was had ants in my face because I rated some of the Christmas ornaments that made from the recycled products such as bottle and cartoon. She is a very ambitious and serious person while making her work, especially for the Christmas and every important event. Okay. Okay. When I sat down and enjoying the Christmas party in her house, I just amazed about the artificial tree that was not a piece of cake while she made the Christmas tree because of the painting and the complicated shape. Okay, that was so very
That is the
amazing.
end of part 2. I will stop you there. Please put your note paper to the side, turn it over, your pen as well. And now we will continue with part 3. Okay, that was good. Chayani, yeah, I could feel that the dog barking suddenly in the background there
Yeah.
distracted you. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's good
That was
practice.
distraction.
Yeah, sometimes we get distracted
Yeah.
by unexpected events such as dogs barking. Especially
Yeah.
when people are nervous, Chayani, they get distracted easier. So in the real IELTS exam, you're not going to have dogs barking usually, but you never know, right? So sometimes if you're in the IELTS exam, you might have an ambulance or a fire truck go by the building with loud sirens. Some students, they're looking at the examiner and the examiner is like tapping their pen or making weird faces behind the glasses or something like that. So you really have to, just shut everything out. Forget about the barking dog, right? Shut it all out and just really focus on what you are saying and how you're saying it. Let me
Okay,
give
so-
you let me give you a little bit of feedback. So that was about a band 6.5 response. Some of it was a little bit unclear for me exactly what you were saying, and I felt that it was lacking detail in some parts to create more vocabulary and coherence. Okay.
Yeah.
So your start was good. I could tell that you prepared your first sentence, and that was really good. Okay, so you said, okay, I would like to introduce the most creative person I have ever met. And then you said, she is Irette. That's a little bit awkward. That should end by saying, I have ever met my friend Irette. Okay?
Iron.
My friend Irette. Can you repeat this after me? I would like to introduce the most creative person I have ever met, my friend Irette.
I would like to introduce the most creative person I have ever met, my friend Irene.
Irene, okay.
Irene.
All right, got it. And I liked your description. You actually got me smiling, and I try to usually maintain a very indifferent emotional opinion, but you got me smiling. You said she is very cute and chubby. It's like, okay. Right. And then you said she studied computer engineering from this particular university. That was good. Now, after that, as you got into talking about her creativity, I was a little bit confused. Are you there, Chayani? Chayani, did we lose you? Oh no, it looks like we got disconnected, Chayani. But I'm going to finish my feedback for you, Chayani, anyhow. So looking at your response, I'm sure you're still listening to me through YouTube, which is fine. And everybody else, you can just refresh your page in the meantime. I'm going to do the same, and then I'll finish my feedback for Chayani here. So Chayani, as you're listening to me, the part where you were talking about her creativity was a little bit unclear for me in some parts. Like you said, she has a very creativity hand. It just sounded like awkward English. I think what you were trying to say is she has very skillful hands when creating Christmas decorations, something like that. And then when you said she always makes some products related to Christmas, like Christmas cards, that's where you want to go into more detail. Like, what kinds of Christmas cards? What's on the Christmas cards? Does she write poems, such as Christmas cards, which she paints with watercolors and then writes a short, lovely poem for the recipient? Okay. So let me just pull out that sentence so you can see what's going on here. And this was kind of similar as the feedback that I was giving to Domenico as well, everyone. So I'm sure that you're listening here, Chayani. And yeah, exactly. So Chayani, I can see you in the chat there, and you're saying like Christmas wishes, right? So unique and creative Christmas wishes, right? Go into details. Students, details get you high band scores, okay? So having this kind of a sentence here. In fact, every Christmas, she always makes some products. Products is a bit strange. Some items or some gifts related to Christmas, such as a Christmas card, which she paints with watercolors and then writes a short, lovely poem for the recipient. Okay, so that kind of a sentence is what you want to practice for getting those higher band scores. All right, so focus on those. All right, let's take another volunteer. Let's see if Romelia is around. Here we go. Romelia, here we go. Okay, are you ready? Romelia says ready whenever you are. All right, Romelia, let's see if you're ready. Yes, okay. Hi, Romelia.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can, Romelia. How are you?
I'm doing perfect. What about you?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks. Are you getting ready? My guess is you're getting ready for Christmas in Romania as well.
I see.
Right? No? Are you?
Yeah, I'm almost ready. Evening here, so yeah.
Okay.
Christmas is about to come.
Cooking, all the cooking is done. All the
Yeah,
cakes and
the
all the sweets.
Cakes and dishes.
What's a traditional dish in Romania for Christmas?
It's called cozonac. It's very, very tasty.
Is it a sweet?
Full of calories.
Is it a sweet dish or is it like a main
It's
dish?
It's a sweet. But we also have salty dishes.
What's the main ingredient in that?
For the sweet one.
Yes.
Flour, raisins, things like this.
And
nuts,
sugar, right?
Sugar, a lot of sugar, unfortunately.
That's the main ingredient. It's a good main ingredient during Christmas.
Yeah.
It's food for the soul.
As an exception to indulge yourself in a guilty pleasure. Why not?
Exactly, for Christmas, right? As long we all gain a few calories during Christmas. Okay,
for the
Romelia.
celebration.
It's so that we can have a reason to work out after New Year's. Okay, Romelia, I will start you off with this part 2 cue card. Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
Okay, then here we go. So that is the end of part 1. We will now begin part 2. Talk about a creative person whom you know. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Okay, I'm going to introduce you my best friend, Andrea, who is in her early 40s. She is about 1 meter and 75 centimeters, so kind of tall. She is 10, a good figure with a soft skin. And first time I met her, she struck me as innovative when she proved me a talent in matching clothes with exclusive accessories. And also, next time when I visited her, I was impressed by the way she decorated herself, her own house. She made a name for herself in my country as a TV presenter and a film director. And it goes without saying that you need a lot of creativity. You have to come up with something ingenious every time to resist in this dog-eat-dog world of entertainment. Also, she reaped the rewards in this field for a documentary, was awarded, and the documentary featured the situation of minority in our country, gypsy, a little bit disadvantaged by the society, having a kind of stigma attached. Now, in his middle age, she is an English teacher, because she also has a degree in languages of communication from a prestigious British university, and she's an English teacher. She has a flair for teaching and communication, and I'm pretty sure in the future she will make a difference for her students in their life, because she extols the virtues of communication and expressing yourself freely.
Okay, I'll stop you there. Your 2 minutes is up. And we will now continue with part 3. For this part, I'm going to ask you some more questions related to the topic of part 2. Romelia, that was really good. So that was a solid 6.5 to 7. We're getting a lot of 6.5 to 7s today. But yeah, that was, again, quite, which is good. 6.5 to 7 is good. So you had some good fluency. You had a lot
It's
of
not good, but it doesn't matter.
You had a lot of different information. You're making some slight awkward grammatical mistakes throughout your speaking here, which do drop your score to under 7.5. So here you said, I'm going to introduce you. I'm going to introduce, this is a tricky one and it's a very common mistake, Romelia. I'm going to introduce to you. There's
To
two
you,
twos.
the preposition,
Yeah,
yes.
so I'm going to introduce to you my best friend Andrea, who is in her early 40s. You really want to make sure that that first sentence is accurate grammatically, even the preposition. If you're not sure about the preposition, simplify it, right? Like, let me introduce my best friend Andrea, who is in her early 40s. She's 1 meter 75 centimeters. Tanned, good figure. Be really concise with the physical description so that you can get through that very fast, okay? And then here was a little bit awkward English. You said that the first time I met her, she proved me her talent of matching clothes with accessories.
Yeah.
Here you want to be a little bit more natural. So like this, my first impression of her was that she is very creative by looking at her clothing and accessories, right?
Exactly.
So try that sentence with me, Romelia. My first impression of her was that she's very creative just by looking at the way she matched her accessories to her clothes.
Just by looking of how she matched clothes and accessories, she gave me the impression that she's a very ingenious person.
Okay, that was much, much better. All right. And then go into detail. She was wearing these feather earrings with this tall cap
So
and a long blouse.
Another detail.
Yes, because just like what I've been saying to some of your other peers, I'm the examiner, so I don't have your eyes. And if you're talking about something like creativity and you're talking about your friend and the way she dresses, immediately, as someone who doesn't know her, who's never seen her, the thought in my head is, well, okay, how does she dress? What does she have on? Like, does she have big purple baggy pants on with a really nice pink blouse and feather earrings or gold hoop earrings? So what should I be seeing in my head here as creativity, right? So that's the detail that needs to be included, especially when it's a topic like this, creativity, where we need to show that visually. We need to, I guess what I should say here is we need to evoke the senses. Do you know what this means, to evoke the senses?
Yeah, to get the message across properly.
Evoke the senses means to enable the audience to feel, see, hear, touch, taste, smell.
Involve the
information.
all the senses when we get across the information.
Exactly. That's how we experience our world, right? And this is an important tip for everybody. We experience our world through our 5 senses, right? So when we read books, watch movies, listen to songs, poetry, it's always those songs, those movies, those poems, those stories that evoke our senses, which are the most gripping, which are the most interesting for us, right? So let's say, for example, somebody is going to talk about their creative friend who is a chef and makes delicious Christmas food, right? We want to involve the taste, the smell, right? Because food has taste, has smell. So it's so sweet that you jump for joy. You can feel it in the back of your tongue for the next 2 days, right? So you evoke those senses, okay? And that's kind of what we want to look for here. Otherwise it was good. Just be really careful with the grammar, and then connect, okay? You had a lot of different ideas, and it felt a little bit like you were jumping around. And stay focused, stay on just a few ideas, okay?
Okay.
All right. Romelia, your use of those idiomatic expressions is really good. So I hope that everybody who's hearing Romelia, use these idiomatic expressions throughout the speech. You're writing them down, like this one: she reaped the rewards. Reaped the rewards, for example, means to gain the benefits of the activity. Okay. And I think you used about 5 or 6 different expressions like that. I know Chayani used the ants in my pants in the last one as well, which is a funny one for me. We have a short video on that. So keep doing that, Romelia, but don't just focus on the expressions. Also focus on that connective, detailed information, okay?
Okay.
All right. And I wish you a very, very Merry Christmas, Romelia.
Likewise.
Thank you for volunteering. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you for
okay?
the opportunity to.
You're
to
very
talk.
welcome. You're very
Okay.
welcome. Bye for now. All right, that was Romelia. Let's give Romelia a thumbs up. She's very hard on herself, and she shouldn't be. She's got great English and a fantastic vocabulary set. Students, that's all the time I have right now, but don't go too far. This is aehelp.com that we're using right here. We're using the student partner speaking, and you can sign up for a premium package on the website at aehelp.com by clicking on that big red button right there. I will be back in just under 30 minutes with speaking part 3, students. Speaking part 3, of course, is connected to speaking part 2, so it will be on the topic of creativity. And you have to practice these kinds of unusual or less common topics for the IELTS, because IELTS comes up with different topics every single time. Sarah, thank you so much for moderating. Chayani, Romelia, Domenico, thank you for volunteering. In the next class, we're going to have lots and lots of volunteers for speaking part 3 questions. So make sure to come back. Everybody will be invited to volunteer, our subscribers, our members, our viewers, our premium students. So go get yourself a cup of water, stretch your legs, and come back and hang out with me in about 25 minutes. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria for now. I will see you all shortly. Bye, everybody.